hope you are all having a wonderful summer. I'm so looking forward to getting back together and meeting as a group in this coming semester and even the end of the summer. And I hope you guys are all being productive, but yet still having a little bit of fun. It's that time of the summer again where we get to hear a little bit more from the Leadership Secrets of Billy Graham. I've really, really enjoyed reading this book so far, and not only been blessed by that, but also by what Jonah and Manny have shared about it too. My chapter that I've been assigned, so to speak, is pretty interesting. I really enjoy it, and I hope that you guys will too. But even the title itself kind of sets the stage. The title is called "Loving Harsh Critics." It starts with a quote that says, "Get a friend to tell you your faults, or better still, welcome an enemy who will watch you keenly and sting you savagely. What a blessing such an irritating critic will be to a wise man." And that's by Charles Haddon Spurgeon. I really, really enjoyed the words, or they definitely stood out to me, sting you savagely. It's such a harsh word, and then to put the title Loving Harsh Critics with it too definitely just kind of enhances the whole idea. I know that in my life I definitely have encountered criticism, as many of us have, but in my family too, we're definitely a family that, like, my brothers were sarcastic. We kind of criticize each other in a fun way a lot of times, and I'm sure some of you have experienced that with me already on Senate too, that I'm a little bit sarcastic, but I really think that maybe that aspect of my growing up and of my family has definitely made me a bit more resilient when it comes to criticism. So I think that it's interesting that I get to talk about that a little bit. But this book really talked about it a little bit more in regards to Billy Graham's life, which is awesome. I think that something that we need to just start off with on the table is the fact that criticism does suck, to be honest. It's hard, but I think that we can gain from it, and through the examples of others, it makes it a lot easier. The first part starts kind of by talking about applying the principles. So a huge thing and a mentality that is hard to accept but is almost essential is turning your critics into your coaches. We really do learn a lot about ourselves and about others through the things that we hear said about us. I mean, they can be good, they can be bad, but either way, we're learning more about ourselves. How we respond to our critics reveals a lot about our sense of calling and our composure. A guy named Kempis observed that it is good that at times we endure opposition and that we are evilly and untruly judged when our actions and intentions are good, because often such experiences promote humility and protect us from vainglory. I thought this was really cool because we talked a lot about humility on our retreat. I know that most of you were not there, but it's something I think that we're going to try to put into practice a lot more this year in Cabinet. Not saying that it hasn't been a part in the past, but when we make ourselves humble, I think it gives others more of a chance to approach us and to want to be like us, because they see that we aren't taking glory in everything that we're doing, and that we realize that not only on our own we wouldn't be able to do it, but not only just with the team of Senate we wouldn't be able to make changes. We really do depend on those around us, and humility can be seen in that way, and it can also be seen in the way that we handle our mistakes. When we're humble and we accept the fact that it's happened, it proves a lot about our character, and I think that's what it's getting at here. So our first reaction when we're criticized might be retaliation, but instead I think that we need to look for opportunities to be more effective in our leadership and to step back and examine ourselves. A huge thing that is really obvious is that we need to expect to be criticized. When we're making a change as leaders and when we're standing for something good, we are going to be opposed. We're going to have people who are very against what we're doing because they're so used to the way that things have been done. But when we have criticism, it really means that we're doing something right. They talked about in the book how Olympians plan to have pain, because when they have their pain, they know that they're doing things well and that things are going to, they're going to be painful. So what we really need to do is develop a plan for pain. So when we accept the challenge of criticism, we can't let it become a threat. We know it's going to be there, we're planning for it, and the way that we react to it is making it more of a challenge and less of a threat. Rosalind Carter also said, leaders take people where they want to go, but a great leader takes people where they don't necessarily want to go but ought to be. I thought that was a really interesting quote, and I know that we talked about this at our leadership, not our leadership, but our cabinet retreat too. Anyone can be a leader. We all have it inside of ourselves that we want to lead others, or that we should be leading others, but it's easy to just lead someone. But when we take them where they maybe don't want to go, but where they know and we know and they know that they really need to be, it's more of a task. So when we get criticized, when we take people where they don't want to go, it's hard, but it's suggested that we, rather than become defensive, we view criticism as a natural occurrence and proof that we are doing something right. I think I said that already. When we are being criticized, we know that we're doing something right. That makes it more of a constructive energy, and who doesn't need energy? I spent my whole last week being a rah-rah, which was being really energetic the whole time, and it's something that doesn't come easy. Another thing that we need to do is be realistic about our dual natures. Even the best people still have our old self. In the Bible, it talks about our old self, and criticism happens, and it's a reminder that our work as leaders is not ever done. We really need to have a tough hide when it comes to that tough skin. Abe Lincoln was mentioned in this chapter as well, and it said, embrace 3 essentials. We know that Abe Lincoln was one of the presidents that was very criticized. I think people called him a scoundrel of a president, a liar, a thief, anything like that. But he used a strategy that involved 3 steps, and the first of those was settling on your deepest convictions about your missions. We really need to hold true to our mission, and I know that Manny went all over our mission, but if we just focus on that, it'll make it so much easier to just keep the main thing. Anything else, criticisms about that, when we analyze it in regards to our theme and our mission, it should become way more clear. So when we have critics, maybe we can invite them to help us with the things that we are most compelled to do and stick to those. Another essential strategy that he used was ignoring most of the critics. Obviously, we've acknowledged that there's going to be critics, but some criticisms sting more than they do damage. They're going to sting, it's going to hurt, but what we do with it is most of the time, if we can ignore it, that's the best option. Also, a huge thing that Abe Lincoln exemplified was that we don't need to respond reactively. Sometimes he would write a heated letter, and I've heard this before too, of response to critics, but don't ever send it. Really what's essential, I think, in criticism is taking time. Don't always react, because our first instinct is going to be to use our emotions and to let those get involved in everything, and that's just not good. So Billy Graham even took several days even responding to people, and if they attacked him personally, he sometimes even chose not to respond at all. I think that takes a lot of patience and humility, but I think that that's awesome, and that's very, very much something that we should aim to do. The main point I think that we could take away from this is to treat critics better than they deserve. So Dawson Trotman said, there is a kernel of truth in every criticism. Look for it, and when you find it, rejoice in its value. Sometimes the best way to get rid of a critic is to turn them into a friend. When we find our truth in the criticism, we can use it and make ourselves better, and then gain perspective and gain insight and make ourselves better through the use of the critic. So overall this, I think that the best thing, but almost the hardest thing to do, is just try to love those who are criticizing us, because we realize that what they're saying is going to be essential in making us better, stronger, more challenged leaders. I think that's all I have to say about loving harsh critics. I'm excited to see you all again. I hope you're all having a great summer. Ignore all my hand motions. I get pretty into it. And yeah, I wish the best for all of you.